All right. Hello. Hello, I am here. We are doing the first ever Beam Saber game design stream. And as always, I'm Austin Ramsey. I am your host for this evening and the creator of Beam Saber, a vehicle-focused Forged in the Dark game. But I'm guessing you already knew that since you're here watching a Beam Saber design stream. As always, this stream is presented by You Don't Meet in an Actual Play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a diverse rotating cast. So this is the part where I usually say, and today I'm joined by, but it's just me and you, viewer. So we'll just get right into it. You can see here I've got my trusty, what you want to call it? Jesus, why can't I think of the word? Google Drive. I've got my trusty Google Drive open. And there we go. That's a bit better. And what do we use this Google Drive for? Well, the primary thing that I like it for is that it's accessible anywhere, which means that I can have a notes document here, which is probably my primary working document for Beam Saber. It's great because I can access it from my phone, so if I have a thought, an idea while I'm at work, I can pop it in there. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I need to take down some idea I have, bam, it's right there on my phone. So it's very handy. What else? Yeah, so I guess I'll go over how I've got my notes lined up. So it's a mess, honestly. So at the top is some unsorted questions to keep in mind. Not going to go through them all, but it's like, what do you do in your game? How do you mechanically support that concept? What does it reward players for engaging with it? So on. Next up are preserved rules. These are ideas that were originally in Beam Saber in some form, but I took out because they weren't doing what I wanted, or the game changed and left them behind. So that's what this section is for. Here's some more notes just randomly in there. Like I said, this document's a mess. Some questions about the main rules that I try and keep in mind. Questions specifically about rules related to pilots. Questions about squad and factions, about vehicles, about the GM guidelines section. My notes on the quick start guide that I am working on for Beam Saber. Just hopefully I'll get that out someday soon. And then there's my two largest sections, my to-do list and my notes from actual play. The to-do list is things that I plan on doing, that I will do, and have been working on. And then there's the notes from actual play, which is questions and thoughts that pop up from hearing feedback from groups that are actually playing Beam Saber. Both of these, though, are frankly kind of overlapping. There's a lot of overlapping stuff in there. I sort of just, when I'm looking for something to work on, I just tend to roll through them and find something that I feel like working on that day. And then when I complete it, I delete that note. Hence why there are gaps like this one here. It's a sign that I completed something. Got rid of the note to remind me about it. Version 0.2 goals are things that I wanted to get done by the end of version 0.2 or during 0.2. We're now on 2.7, I believe, is my work in progress document. So it's going okay, I think. Sort of. Frankly, this is just sort of another like to-do list. You know, I'm streaming. So yeah, there's another. It's just another section that I go to when I'm trying to figure out what to work on. GM Playbook. That's a section, or this is a section where I put ideas for. I'm thinking about putting out a playbook that is specifically for GMs. That is kind of, I guess, suggestions for the most part and reminders of stuff to keep track of. Sort of like the reference document that most sensible tabletop role-playing games come with. This one just specifically directed to GMs. This little section here was what do you call it? Some advice that I read about when eventually doing publishing. Don't do pay what you want, because it tells the audience that you don't know what you're worth and what your work is worth. And have a free version and a premium version. The idea being that the free version will get the word out there, and then the premium version will have like your art assets and good design layout and so forth, and you charge money for that one. Expanded play ideas. This is a section that I started recently, and it's all just ideas for stuff that I might do in the future. It's stuff that is not core to what I want to do with Beam Saber, but it could be fun to include. Like a playbook about playing characters who are like Ultraman or Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan or the Guyver. Chocolate chip cookies. Thank you. My wonderful roommate Christine is making some cookies and has offered to make me some. This Proto-TO prep section is I'm going to be at Proto-TO in Toronto in September, which is all about game designers playing their games. So I'm going to be play testing Beam Saber there with some people who have never heard of Beam Saber before, except for whatever's on the Proto-TO website, which I actually haven't checked in a while. I should probably curious what's on there, but that's something to check out for later. And then I've got a bunch of names that I was going to potentially use. Don't know. They're basically mostly names from early playtest games, but I don't think I ever ended up actually using any of them. So that's sort of a bit of a defunct section. Who knows, maybe I'll come back to it someday. Alright, so what else? So that's the notes. And then here's how I have things organized. I have a folder for all of the streaming stuff that I do, the Stream Squad Alpha folder. I've got a folder which is archived versions of Beam Saber, all the previous versions. I keep all of them, nothing gets deleted. They're all located here, and also I download copies of them and I keep them on my computer as well, in case Google ever decides to screw with me and delete all of my Google Drive, which I have heard horror stories about, and I got into the habit of that thanks to Christine. Then I've got the Beam Saber Work in Progress folder, which has all of the unreleased versions of Beam Saber and other related documents I've got the Beam Saber playtesting, which is all the released stuff. And that's all the Beam Saber related things that I've got going on here. So we're going to go into the work in progress folder. I've already got my notes open. So then, let's see. Well, we'll just open up all the docs that I am likely to work on. So, core doc, the lore doc, pilot doc, and the squad doc. There's also the random tables, but those, with me having put in the random mission generator, all of those are basically completed at this time. So that one's kind of quiet for the last while. All right, let's have a look at this to-do list. The ones that are bolded are ones I felt needed priority. To add a crafting section. I am working on that in the hacker playbook, but I'm not going to work on that today because that involves a lot of me looking at Blades in the Dark and seeing what John Harper did there with the crafting and figuring out how it relates to Beam Saber, which is probably boring, I think. Not super creative. It's a lot of paraphrasing, I suspect. Okay, expand the in-depth pilot and vehicle actions with GM questions. Maybe we'll work on that. Faction clocks. What are the benefits of filling a clock? This one, it's actually jumping to the lead. I've had some ideas about that. Right, I should actually write this down while I'm thinking about it. Increased max heart rating, because I want each of these faction clock benefits to be related to the goal that was completed. So for the Nano Laminate armor, why is that laminated? No, that's fine. Laminate is a material. That one would be related to if you complete Secure the Borders as your faction goal. This would be if you complete Hearts and Minds. I was also thinking about, where is it? Intelligence Network for completing Intelligence Coup. This would be like having basically spies embedded in every single faction and squad. Make it easier to gather information of a specific variety. Because I want all these to be strong bonuses and unique, but I also don't want them to be overpowering, of course, which is where the tricky part comes in. Create a section on respecting the fiction. Maybe not today. Expand and make rollable charts of manufacturers, models, names, locations, looks, notable people, regions, environmental descriptors, mission types for each squad type. Maybe. We'll put that in a maybe. Have iconic characters for each playbook to use in examples. Not today. I might just end up using the cenotaph for 4 of them anyways. Explain gaming jargon. That's also going to be really boring to watch. If you're here looking at game design, I'm sure you know what a PC, an NPC, and a GM are, but those are basically necessary sections to include in any tabletop role-playing game. Unless they're already here. I don't think so. Basics, setting, the players. Yeah, I don't explain the terms here. Okay, so that is something I still got to do. Add section about dealing with character death and vehicle destruction. Are losses necessary? Maybe I'll put that some thought. Then making examples. Okay, so let's go back. I found a couple that were good. Alright. So faction goals is what these are tied to. So let's find that in the core document. There's that. That'll be in the squad section. Faction goals. Okay. Faction goals. A faction's goal is the current strategic objective that they are trying to fulfill on their path of dominance in the war. The players and GM discuss which faction goal makes sense for their patron faction to have at the start of the game. Things to consider in this decision are the amount of politics, combat, and brutality everyone wants, as well as themes they might want to explore. Each goal is represented by a 4-tick clock. Squads add ticks by taking actions, usually during missions, that work towards the goal. When the clock fills, all squads patronized by the faction receive specialist training, giving them a unique benefit. The players and GM then consider the current situation of the war and select a new and different goal, as each goal can only be completed once. So I don't think that anyone's going to run out of these to take, because that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 32 missions to complete all the clocks. And that's assuming that you don't take any missions that just don't help out your faction's goal, which seems unlikely. And then you can see at the bottom here, when a faction's goal is fulfilled, every squad that currently has it as their patron gains a benefit. I'm still working on what those benefits are, but feel free to come up with ideas. Well, here's what we're going to get into. Okay. I think I'll probably actually, just looking at how this is organized, I'll add the benefit underneath each of these goals. So let's work on coming up with ideas in the actual notes document. So we've got at least one of them done. Nano Laminate armor. Each vehicle can have 1 NLA, functions as normal armor, but is load 1. Because normally armor is load 2. So this is a nice weight-saving ability. Right, and this is connected to gain when you complete the secure the borders faction goal. Increase max heart rating. Is there any other details that I need about this? Yeah, I should probably, I think, put in a fictional description of how, sort of, what this is. So, let's see. What's the idea of this? This is many layers, very, very thin layers of normal armor materials, like molecule thin layers that have been bonded to each other in some way. How have they been bonded? Let's say they've been electromagnetically bonded to each other, and that process of bonding these layers together reduces the weight of the armor while maintaining the same amount of strength and flexibility. So, are electromagnetically bonded to each other to create armor that Don't use armor twice in the same sentence, obviously. Molecular thin layers of material, alloy, ceramic. Molecular thin layers of, why not both? Ceramic, alloy, composite are electromagnetically bonded to each other to create armor that is half the weight of standard vehicle armor, but maintains the same durability. Each vehicle can have one NLA. Declared. Functions as normal armor, but is load 1. Let's see. Can I word that a bit better? Do I need to? I mean, I explicitly need to say that it's load 1. Functions as normal armor, but is load 1. Yeah, I guess that's probably fine. Okay. We're gonna just copy that, jump over here, where secure the borders. There we are. Benefits. Nano laminate armor. So we'll bold this and this. Put in a good old period. Let's see. This looks kind of bad. Should probably do that. Is that better? Yeah, that looks good. Molecule thin layers of ceramic alloy composite are electromagnetically bonded to each other to create armor that is half the weight of standard vehicle armor but maintains the same durability. Each vehicle can have one NLA declared, functions as normal armor but is load 1. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that's one down. No, thank you. And now I delete that. So we've got hearts and minds and intelligence coup. What are the others? Manufacture heroes, hostile takeover. Manufacture heroes, hostile takeover, golden streets, divided they fall, assault the foe. Golden streets, divided they fall, assault the foe. Okay. So what do we want to do with each of these? You know what? It'll come to me with time. But let's focus on the ones that I already have ideas for. So increased max heart rating. So what does that mean? Where is... I'll just pop open a character sheet. Yeah, so this is for the cenotaph. And if you look, you can see that there's their rep meter, which you need, is it? Yeah, it's 12, you need 12 rep. Once you fill it up, then you can increase your tier. Heart, you can get up to 6 heart. And heart is essentially rep that doesn't get removed when you increase tier. So if we increase the benefit of that, if it was just plus, so it should probably be only +1 or +2, because anything more would be a major, I mean, this is already a major increase, frankly. Means you only need 4 rep or 5 rep, assuming that you completely fill this. Should this also give you heart? So I think it should either be that it gives you 1 heart and increases the max +1, or it just increases the max by 2. And then it's up to the squad to take advantage of it. Well, okay. So maybe it's let's say +2. I think that one is, although that one's harder. Now here's a question. How hard should it be to take advantage of these benefits once you've earned them? Because Nano Laminate armor is pretty easy to take advantage of. You just say, oh, yep, okay, my vehicle has NLA instead of, whatchamacallit, normal armor. Or in addition to normal armor, depending on how heavy your vehicle is. But so ease of use versus benefit. If we go for ease of use, it should probably be something else. Increased max heart rating. Will anyone ever actually take advantage of that? Because that would still necessitate that they find a way to get 8 heart points, which, let's have a look. So that would have to basically completely fill the majority of the claim map if they went for it. Yeah. Maybe not that. What else could we do that represents the people loving the faction and wanting to belong to them? Well, what's hearts and minds? Change the popular opinion of a faction in a manner that benefits your patron faction. This can be done by protecting the populace from marauders in your patron's name, publicizing the corruption of an enemy faction, shifting musical tastes in support of your patron, etc. Could be a new ability, something related. I mean, it is a new ability. Let's see. Could be related to the collect. Actually, maybe that's what it is. Something related to the collect action. Although that maybe that's more golden streets. Well, let's have a look at collect. Alright, where is that? That's in downtime activities. So, collect. Gain supply points equal to the number of regions controlled, plus their wealth rating. This can be supplemented by spending cash at a rate of 1 cash spent to gain 1 supply point, representing forcibly setting market prices on locals. However, those supplies are meant to keep moving up the chain of command. Lose trust with your patron faction equal to half the supplies you keep for yourself and your squad. Gain supply points equal to the number of regions controlled, plus their wealth rating. I think that should probably be up to. Oh, well, I guess that is still sort of what you keep. I should actually probably put that in there. Lose trust with your patron faction equal to half of the supplies you keep for yourself and your squad. did mention however the supplies are meant to keep. Okay, the rest of the supplies are given. Actually, I think that might just be repeating myself. This should, I suspect, be clear enough. Keep moving up the chain of command. Yeah, okay. Oh. This part though makes it sound like these supplies are subject to. Hello, Herman. These supplies are subject to the trust, which is not the case. So I'm actually going to rearrange this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That should make it a bit clearer. Points equal to the number of regions controlled plus their wealth rating. Supplies shows the picture has supplies you keep for yourself and your squad. This can be supplemented by spending cash at a rate of 1 cash spent to gain 1 supply point representing. Yeah, okay, so that's good now. But now that I've made a change I'm happy with, I gotta put it in the change log. So I guess if you are watching this before version 0.27 comes out, you're getting a preview of the changes for Beam Saber between version 0.26 and this one. Alright, clarified that supplies purchased during the collect time activity do not affect faction trust. And actually, that's faction trust or independent squads. I think that this is actually one of the. Let's jump this. Okay, so this is how I work. I jump around a lot. Where is it? Downtime activities. I'll see something that I think I need to work on, and then I'll work on it. Forcibly setting market prices on locals, and does not affect faction trust. Let's change. Lose trust with your patron faction. Half the supplies you keep for yourself and your squad. Yeah, okay. Put that here. Independent squads don't lose any trust. Do they not lose any trust? Well, I mean, if they control the region, that means that other factions, that no factions do if they're, if an independent squad is in charge of a faction, that means no faction has control of that region, basically. So independent squads don't lose any trust. One of the few ways that independents are, better's not the right word, because you're still strong arming locals for money. Which ain't great, let me tell you. Okay. So clarified that. Let's go back to the faction goals. Keep that there. Okay. Right, the whole reason that I went there was looking at hearts and minds. So is there any benefit we could get from hearts and minds related to collect? Well, you could reduce or remove the trust penalty for using collect. You could make it so that it nerfs collect by basically just making it so that squads can always purchase stuff at a rate of 1 for 1 with cash. Normally it's 2 for 1. What else could I do with that? Let's have a look. What are some other rules that maybe relate to the public? Let's have a look at the touchstones. Maybe that'll spark something. The Revolutions podcasts. Something to do with rallying the people to your cause, perhaps. Okay, so let's take down some notes. Increase max. We're not sure about this one anymore, so that gets a question mark. Increase max heart rating. Thank you. Improved. How do I want to word that? Improved cash to supply point buying ratio. Reduced trust penalty for collect. Something to do with rallying citizens. Now, another thing to keep in mind is I don't want to step on anybody's toes because, for instance, the officer has rally, which is spend 2 stress to do one of the following. To compel additional directions, you may spend 1 stress per direction. Direct an unaffiliated crowd to perform an action. Have an unaffiliated crowd commit violence. Prevent an unaffiliated crowd from causing damage. So obviously I don't want to do anything that would just give the whole squad rally. I want things to be unique. If everyone wants to have rally and all be demagogues, then they can spend their playbook XP on it. Okay. 08th MS team. What happens in 08th MS team with civilians? Well, the only real civilians are the guerrillas that get encountered. If I'm recalling correctly. And they just have their village ruined. That's about it. I mean, yeah, okay. They attack the Xeon some. And they get hurt. They get hurt bad. Yeah, so that's again directing civilians to violence, and I don't think that's what I want to do. Not with this ability. Like I said, save that for rally. It could reduce the cost of cohorts. Because currently cohorts, that could represent a recruitment drive. So, cohorts cost 1 squad upgrade instead of 2. That's not bad. That's creating a pretty strong benefit that people can take advantage of. It's also not wildly unbalancing because it doesn't make cohorts any better. It's just putting more people at their disposal. It's thematically appropriate, representing a recruitment drive. What else? Anything else that's jumping out? See, war in the pocket, civilians, well, the kids specifically, hides that they are there. So could get something like civilian collusion. Something with reduced claim costs, maybe? There's stuff like lookouts there. Yeah, let's have a look at the claims list. That's another thing I don't want to step on the toes of. I don't want to create anything that is basically just a claim. It's not something I want. Where's the claims list? Claims. There we go. Okay. Auto dock, recover, barracks, tough cohorts get extra scale, commissary, extra consort and sway on site, cover identities, cover operation, covert drop, drug den, faction intimidation, fighting pits, fixer, fuel depot, fuel sealant, gambling den, guerrilla confederates, hack lab, heart, hologrid, infirmary. Infirmary and autodoc the same? Yeah, that's fine. Informants, plus 1D to gather information for a mission. That was kind of what I was imagining for the intelligence coup. So I guess we'll have to rethink that one. Command and sway on site. Lookouts, plus 1 to hunt or survey in regions you control. Could do something with expanding what counts as control of regions. Expand control of regions. Or what counts as control? Actually, that one would be kind of neat if you don't need to forcibly remove all other factions from a region to count as having control of it. I actually really like that one. Okay. So alright. I'm liking this max heart less and less, just because it's harder. It's really hard to take advantage of. So I'm actually going to get rid of that now for my notes. Actually, no, I'm not going to delete it. I am going to do the smart thing, and I am going to preserve it. Alright. Okay. Increase max heart rating, improve. Improve cash supply, point to buying ratio, reduce first penalty for collect. Expand control of regions or what counts as control. Okay, well, let's have a look at what does count as controlling a region. Capturing a region. For a faction to capture a region, this current ruler's grip must first be removed. The attacking faction does this by deploying one or more squads to defeat the enemy forces present. This could be a direct assault, an assassination of a VIP, or something subtler like supporting those who protest against the status quo. For the pilots, this means that they will be tasked with a mission to remove the regional government. Once the former government's control is removed, the region is in limbo. The populace continue with daily life, but with dread and uncertainty about what the future holds. To gain control of a region, a faction must use squads to build popular support for them. This might be a propaganda campaign, reaching out to local leaders, or protecting the people from organized crime. For the pilots, they'll have to complete a mission that improves their employer's image. With the new faction in charge, they will assign a squad to administer and protect the region. This allows that squad to perform the collect downtime activity and to perform long-term projects to modify the region's wealth, security, crime, or tech ratings. Wealth... well, that shouldn't be wealthy, that should be wealth. Wealth increases the amount of supply points the region provides and represents hospitals, power plants, schools, factories, and other facilities. Regions will have a starting wealth rating from 0 to 4 depending on how developed the area is, but may decrease if it has been ruined by the war. Why am I detailing wealth here? Did I not detail the others? Did I detail security, crime, and tech elsewhere, or are they creating a region? Name, scene, squad will be should also have 2 or 3 notable NPCs. The ratings, okay. Might. Okay, so it's not security, it's might. Wealth, might, crime, tech. We'll just change that to might. There's all these, as you go through versions, there's a lot of these terms that get changed and then the old versions get left in unintentionally. This is one of those examples. So I just, same with typos, I just make the change and I don't bother putting it in the change log unless it's a, like the term is changed entirely. Wealth increase may decrease if it has been ruined by the war. I'm wondering, this might be a section I can just remove. How rich the area's businesses and residents are and their political power. Perform long-term projects to modify the region's wealth. Okay, this part, wealth increases the amount of supply points the region provides. Okay. Alright, so this should actually be something I clarify up here and not down here. So, alright, wealth, I'll have to change the wording of this. Determines the amount of supply points the region provides. Determines the amount of supply points the region provides, how rich year's businesses and residences are, and their political power. Let's see. Does it still represent hospitals, power plants, schools, factories, and other facilities? I already said that it's about the wealth of the inhabitants and businesses. Indicates how rich the area's businesses and residents are, their political power, and the quality of mundane infrastructure. Quality of mundane infrastructure systems, quality of mundane infrastructure. Structure such as hospitals, roads, electrical grid, power grid, etc. Okay, wealth determines the amount of supply points the region provides. Good. Okay. It's been ruined. May decrease if it has been ruined by the war. Regions will have some rating from 0 to 4, depending how developed the area is, but may decrease if it has been ruined by the war. Okay. So I think, let's see. Yeah, I already mentioned that they'll have 0 to 4 rating in each of those, so I can get rid of that. But I want to keep this bit about may decrease if it is being ruined by the war. But have that specifically be about the process of capturing the region. So, the region's ratings may decrease would crime increase potentially? Yeah. So may change. Okay, let's just delete this last part. May change depending on the process used to liberate and then capture. The region's ratings may change depending on the process used to liberate and then capture it. For example, bombing the governor's palace may to liberate the populace may decrease the region's wealth. And let's see, gaining control of it through empowering a loyal criminal syndicate may increase its crime rating. For example, bombing the governor's palace to liberate the populace may decrease the region's wealth, and gaining control of it through empowering a loyal criminal syndicate may increase its crime rating. Except I wrote Chrome. It gets real shiny once you let them cyberpunks take over. Okay. Let's go back. Might indicates how much of an armed presence is in the area and the intensity of surveillance systems. Let's see. It's used to each of these needs to have a mechanical purpose beyond just fictional positioning. That's my view, anyways. So, might is used to determine the oh yes, that's what I was going to say. The tier of local security forces not affiliated with a squad. There's no E in local. It's This is still kind of vague. Let's see. The tier of local security forces not affiliated with a squad is equal to the region's might. The tier of local security forces not affiliated with a squad is equal to the region's might. Yeah, that's good. That looks good. Okay. Crime, tech, ubiquity, intensity of AR. What might crime and tech do? I don't know. I think that's something to go in the notes. Okay. Come up with a mechanical benefit for a region's crime and tech ratings. There we go. So that's something for me. That's a problem for future Austin. I'll figure out something to do with that at some point in the future. It'll be fine. I don't think any of the playtest groups have bothered trying to get control of regions, which is fine, but is also one of those things like, does this rule need to be in the game in that case? Who knows? Hard to tell if no one's using it. I mean, no one's that high tier yet in any of the playtest groups. Not that you have to be a high tier to control a region. But anyways. Right. Where were we? Applying. Right, expand control of regions or what counts as... Right, this is why we're here. Okay, so... Reduce trust penalty for collect. That's kind of uninteresting. Something to do with rallying citizens. That's too vague. I think I'll actually get rid of that. And I don't need to save it because the officer already has rally. Improved cash to supply point buying ratio. That one's not bad, but I think that's more towards golden streets. So I'm going to do this. Reduce trust penalty for collect. Cohorts cost 1 squad upgrade instead of 2. Expand control of regions or what counts as control. Expand control of regions or what counts as control. What counts as control? That could potentially also be hostile takeover, divided they fall, perhaps. Let's have a look at these faction goals. Again, faction goals. A lot of back and forth in my process. Okay, so divided they fall, manipulate the enemy's plans. This can be done by planting false orders and intelligence, disrupting communications, pitting enemies against each other. Expand control of regions or what counts as control. Don't think so. Hold on streets, improve the supply situation of the patron faction. This can be done by improving the wealth rating of controlled regions. Giving supplies to your patron faction, refusing supply rolls from your patron, etc. Hostile takeover, deny the enemy supplies. This can be done by... Okay, so... Cohorts cost... So divided they fall could work for expanding control of regions. I think the cohort bonus is the one to go with then, because that is very flavorful, represents a expanded, whatchamacallit, support from the populace as people flock to the recruitment offices. Okay. So yeah, I think that's the one I'm gonna go with for hearts and minds. So benefits. What do we? I guess we'll call that recruitment drive. Recruitment drive. Conscription. No, conscription is way too negative. A connotation. Yeah, recruitment drive. Recruitment drive. Okay. Hearts and minds. Hearts and minds. The people. Seen the glory of your faction and want to be a part of it. Cohorts now cost 1 squad upgrade instead of 2. Want to be a part of it. Cohorts now cost 1 squad upgrade instead of 2. As the populace flock to recruitment centers. Gotta get that American spelling in there. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one, I think. I feel good about that one. Okay. Expand control of regions. Okay, so this I am going to move elsewhere. Might work for divided they fall. Cohorts cost 1, that's what we went for. Reduced trust cost for penalty for collect. What might that go into? Manufacture heroes, actually. That one could make sense. But we did hearts and minds, so delete that. Woo, that's another one down. All right. Make a half dozen goals for each faction with specific benefits. Well, that was a rather ambitious plan on my part. Just come up with 30 goals, Austin. 30 goals, each with a unique benefit. 30 completely unique benefits that are only available through this. I mean, it's not the worst idea. Having two benefits that could be chosen from, it would be kind of neat. So you know what? Let's get one done for each first. Okay, what are the others? Manufacture. Well, which one do we want to tackle next? Don't have any ideas for assault the foe or hostile takeover, or any good ones for manufacture heroes. Act against a specific squad at least 2 tiers higher than the player's squad. This can be done by attacking regions controlled by that squad, denying that squad mission objectives, luring that squad into acting irrationally, etc. Go troll this big guy. Act against a specific squad at least 2 tiers higher than the player's squad. have a bite of this cookie. Something about being heroes. So this is very much the squad's focus, not focus of the faction, but it is supposed to affect the entire faction in some way. Maybe some kind of like branding type thing that effect that other squads have to have, or they have to help you with. Other squads within your own faction, of course, not outside of that. Maybe that would be something. Just had an idea. Let's see. Spend special armor to have a squad. If we just have any squad from the same faction show up, that's a problem. Spend special armor to have a squad from your patron faction show up to aid you. Spend special armor to have a squad from your patron faction show up to aid you. I like the idea of this. I'm not 100% sold on the execution, because obviously this means that theoretically you could have like the Rites of the Ascent call in the March of Saints. Which is a tier 1 calling in a tier 5. So I'm not sold on that. Could maybe be something like spend stress equal to the squad's tier to call them in. Squad's tier minus your tier. That'll to a minimum of 0. Maybe. Let's see how that looks. Spend stress equal to okay. Have a squad from your patron faction show up to aid you regardless of status. Show up to aid you by spending stress equal to their tier minus yours. Minimum 0. Have a squad from your patron faction show up to aid you, regardless of status, by spending stress equal to their tier minus yours. Minimum 0. Is that too loosey-goosey? Does that need to have a stronger mechanistic element? Well, how might this be used? This would presumably give improved position or improved effect. Or wouldn't minus status also make sense? Yeah, I could have the stress cost be related to the status, but I want it to be basically I don't want it to be about the relationship, because the idea of this is manufactured heroes is that you did something big, which is you crooked the nose of a squad that was 2 tiers higher than you at least 4 times. And so that means that you're the heroes of the faction. So everyone has to, you're the golden child of the faction. So even if people don't like you in other squads, they still have to come to your aid. That's the idea of it. So I just want it to be connected to that. But it's less the cost that I'm concerned about. It's too vague about the benefit. Because just have a squad, quote unquote, show up to aid you. Maybe give you a benefit equal to maybe that's something. And who spends the stress as well? So who spends this? Okay, so questions we need to answer. Who spends the stress? What's the mechanical benefit? Is the benefit tied to the summoned squad's tier? This is frankly, I'm kind of imagining this as like a Final Fantasy ass summon, except that, you know, instead of having Shiva show up and freeze all your foes, you instead call in like an airstrike. Or repeat airstrikes. What's the mechanic benefit tied to the summoned squad's tier? If we made it so that it was you could get the benefit a number of times. So if it's tied to the summon squad's tier, that means that this ability increases in power as the squad gains tiers. So it gets more powerful over time. So minimum 0. Do I want it to be minimum 0? Or do I want there to be at least some cost? Yeah, let's go with minimum 1. Okay. What if this is essentially like pushing yourself, but at a reduced cost for benefit? So maybe it's like what if it's like, oh, what if it's something like this? Pick a squad at the start of a mission. Pick a squad at the start of a mission. Each pilot spends stress. Okay, I should be writing this down so I don't forget it. Pick a squad at the start of a mission. Each pilot spends stress equal to the squad's tier. No, actually, that's a lot of stress. Okay, pick a squad at the start of the mission. Let's see. That squad can give plus 1d to any pilot can give plus 1d to any pilot number of time. Okay, so let's just get a rough wording of this. Then I'll clear it up later. The squad can give plus 1d to any pilot a number of times per mission equal to its tier when that pilot spends 1 stress. I like this ability. I like the idea of it, but it definitely needs some fine tuning. I need to get some water. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. Hmm. Let's have a look at the character sheets. Character sheets might inspire something, some way of wording this better. Okay, so squads, character sheets. Could do something with cohorts with them. Operating theater. I'm thinking about getting rid of that rule. Nobody uses it. Okay, this needs to be moved. Rebel squad type, that should be an expanded play ideas. Okay. Back to it. Alright. So thinking that the start of the mission part precludes doing this as a cool flashback reveal. Maybe, Herman. I guess that does start to get into the over planning bit. So if it was just does it need to be tied? I don't want to just make it. Oh, what if it is a number of times? That might be too good. If it was like a number of time. All right, I gotta write this down. Per mission, no, it has to be per session. Times per session. Session. Mission. That's something to consider. Number of times per session or mission. Pilot can push themselves for 1 stress can push themselves for 1 stress by revealing how another squad. Excuse me, I don't want to cough into the mic. Fortunately, I worry I'm getting sick. By revealing how another squad assisted them. That's way more elegant. Way more elegant. No times per session or mission, a pilot can push themselves for 1 stress by revealing how another squad assisted them. Number of times per session, mission equal to the Squads tier. How do I I like that. I think that this is probably what I'm going to go for. It's good, it's elegant, it's beneficial, it improves over time. Just got to think of the right wording. Pilot can push themselves for 1 stress number of times per session mission equal to their squad's tier by revealing how another squad belonging to their patron faction assisted them. Okay. A pilot can push themselves for 1 stress a number of times per session equal to their squad's tier by revealing how another squad belonging to their patron faction assisted them. Squad's tier, minimum 1, by revealing how another squad belonging to their patron faction assisted them. Mission or session. Which of those makes more? I mean, mission probably makes more sense narratively, but what makes more sense for actually being at the table? Let's see. If you're doing it in a mission in a single session, then if you're doing it in a single, if you're doing a mission in a single session, then it's the same. But sessions tend to go, or missions tend to go longer than 1 session as opposed to multiple missions in one for only 1 stress. I'm sorry, Herman, I don't understand what your question is about, or what your quote is about. Pilots can push themselves for, because normally it's 2 stress. Push themselves it's also how it can push themselves for 1 stress a number of times per session or mission, adding only to the wording. Can push themselves for only, pilot can push themselves for only 1 stress a number of times, for only 1 stress a number of times per session stress a number of times per session or mission. Okay, so is it session or is it mission? Which one is more practical? Session is easier to keep track of. I think that's the most realistic thing to do. Mission might get tricky. If it's a long mission or if it's across multiples, and I mean they're still paying the stress. And even at very high levels, they're only going to be getting this 4 times per session, and they're still paying the cost. This is more of a clutch benefit, I guess. Okay, I'm good with this. Okay. Benefits. Well, that bolding is backwards. What's this going to be called? Poster child. Okay. Pilot can push themselves for only one stress, a number of times per session equal to their squad's tier, minimum 1, by revealing how another squad belonging to their patron faction assisted them. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. All right. So, is there anything I want to save from here? Reduce trust penalty for collect. A squad train patron faction up to AG regardless. Okay, so that's basically the same thing. So I'm not going to save that part, but I will save this as something that could come in handy later. But hey, knocked out manufacture heroes. So, hostile takeover. Golden Streets, divided they fall. Assault the foe. Intelligence network. Expand control of regions or what counts as control. Improved cash to supply point buying ratio. Okay, let's have a look at these again. Alright. Wait, do I have assault? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So for a second I was wondering if I was missing one. Alright. Steal valuable information from the enemy. This can be done by acquiring VIPs, retrieving actionable intel, stealing technological advances, etc. So intelligence coup. What are some ideas we could do for that? Okay, well I'm just gonna get rid of intelligence network, so it's basically informants. So, what could knowing stuff represent? Let's see, well there's informants slash spies. There's research and advanced technology. What else could that be? Retrieving actionable intel, studying technological advances, acquiring VIPs. Actionable intel. Informants, spies. Okay, what's hostile takeover? Deny the enemy supplies. What if hostile takeover was something like lower the tier of a faction's squads? Would that be too much to drop all of a faction's squads by one tier, representing them not getting their supplies anymore? What would that do? Let's have a look at the factions. Well, it would erase everyone's tier 5. It would also create tier 1, or tier 0 rather. And make it possible to actually wipe out a number of squads very easily. Assuming a squad is tier 2 and they got their first, well, let's say they're tier 1 when they get their first one. So everyone above them is now easier. What if it's just lower their hold? That wouldn't be nearly as strong, but it would drop the tier of some of them. All the W's go down, S's go to W's. I think that might actually work. Okay. Choose a faction. All of these squads belonging to that faction lose hold. Lose hold? Is that the term I'm looking for? There is squad advancement. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Squad development. That's what I'm looking for. And is hold on here? Yeah, there is hold. Okay. You accrue enough rep. Factions of the squads take more seriously. You need 12 rep to fill the rep tracker on your squad sheet. When you fill the tracker, do one of the following. If your hold is weak, become strong. Reset your rep to 0. If your hold is strong, your tier increases. This squad experiences several changes. Where's Vendetta? I gotta read something about lowering holds. Where would I find that? Status? Squad status. Let's see. No, also, okay. Alright, let's bring out the Control F. Vendetta. Vendettas. Put them in Vendetta with the player squad. Picking fights can ruin associations. You have Vendetta with them. You have Vendetta in the squads. Vendetta with one of the squads. Vendetta. Status levels. Okay. Where even is this? It's under trust. Status level. Okay. Groups with this rating work to harm the squad even if it is against their best interests. They expect the squad to do likewise and will take precautions against them. When the squad has a vendetta with any number of groups, they'll suffer additional trust losses, temporarily lose one hold, possibly lowering their tier by 1 until the vendetta ends. Pilots can only take 1 downtime activity rather than 2. The vendetta will end if the enemy is destroyed or a mutual agreement temporarily lose 1 hold. Okay. Alright. So all the squads belong to the faction lose 1 hold. Lose 1 hold. Going from strong to weak. Or weak to strong, but at a lower tier. All of the squads belonging to that faction permanently lose 1 hold. Going from strong to weak at their current tier, or weak to strong but at a lower tier. Yeah, I think I like that one. That one's kind of nuke-like. Okay, that one was pretty easy. I'm happy with how that one went. Okay. Hostile takeover. Benefits. Level the playing field. What about 1W squads? They become tier 0. They become tier 0S. It's the only way to get NPCs with tier 0. Although I'm wondering if I should mention that, because I'm sure someone will be like, how does that happen? A lower tier, tier 1 squads become tier 0. Tier 1 W squads. Is that? I don't think it. Strong, or not strong. That's not. Weak. Tier 1 squads become strong. Tier 0 squads. Yeah, I think that's good. So now I just need a narrative description. Did I have a narrative description? No, I gotta put 1 for poster child too, right? Okay, so need a narrative description for level the playing field and poster child. So poster child, actually I need to think about that one a bit more. Let's see. worked hard to deny the enemy what it needs to continue the war. To continue the war, and your efforts have begun to wear down their troops. Wear down their troops, wear down their squads, wear down their squads. Begun to wear down their squads. You've worked hard to deny the enemy what it needs to continue the war, and your efforts have begun to wear down their squads. Choose a faction. All of the squads belonging to that faction permanently lose one hold, going from strong to weak at their current tier, or weak to strong but at a lower tier. Weak tier 1 squads become strong tier 0 squads. Good. Poster child. Let's see. Now that your heroes, your faction needs to keep you alive without removing you from the action. Now that you're heroes, your faction needs to keep you alive without removing you from the action. A pilot can push themselves for only one stress, a number of times per session equal to their squad's tier, by revealing how another squad belonging to their patron faction assisted them. Your faction needs to keep you alive without removing you from the action. Yeah, okay, that's good. Be part of it. Okay, so that's half done. There we go. Well, nicely got done. Okay, so hostile takeover can now be deleted. Golden streets, divided they fall, assault the foe, intelligence coup. Okay, golden streets, improving the supply situation of the patron faction. This can be done by improving the wealth rating of controlled regions, giving supplies to your patron faction. I mean, this could theoretically just be the inverse of hostile takeover, but frankly, that's boring. Oh boy, and we all get +1 holds instantly. Yeah, that's not interesting. Hmm. I have an idea. When you make a supply roll, roll twice and choose the higher result. Is that interesting enough? I mean, obviously that's very strong, because that probably, fortunately I don't have the mathematics of it, but I'm sure that increases, I mean, that's basically a reroll. So that, I believe, I think that that'll increase the results by about 50%. Actually, I think that might, as much as I like this idea, I think that it might break the struggling to get by theme. What if it costs the players to do a reroll? Or what if they can push themselves to add dice? Maybe that's the answer. Yeah. I can spend stress. Hold on. Wait, this might interfere with the bureaucrat ability. Let's see, bureaucrats. Stay late. Cook the book. Spend 2 stress and downtime activity to gain an additional supply roll. If you're part of an independent squad, your supply roll is 0D unless something increases it. Maybe it's the envoy? Someone has an ability that helps with cash. Little something on the side. No. Read him and weep. Subterfuge. Trust. Where is it? Hold on. 2 stress, best action rating while performing a different action, as long as you can justify. You use a disguise or other form of covert misdirection, and you get +1D to rolls to deflect. You and your entourage have increased effect when consorting and swaying, as long as you take advantage of how truly impressive you are. Like looking in the mirror, you can online. Something on the side that's extra saving. Read them and weep is their vulnerabilities. Subterfuge, spend your special hour to resist consequence. Okay, trust in me. And target whom you have a strong relationship. For another PC, this is a +2 or higher connection. That should say connection value. Connection value. Glad I spotted that. That's going in the change log. Okay. What ability was that? That was trust in me for the envoy. Removed. Or no, not removed. Replaced relationship value in the envoy ability trust in me with connection value. There. Good. Okay. Connection value. All right. Is it, maybe it's a squad ability? There's some ability that gives extra supplies, and I know it's not just the airfield. Silver Tongues Accord, High Society, during downtime with the patron faction, no. Friends in high places, take +1 die when making a supply roll. This gives independent squads a 0D supply roll during reward if they don't already have one. Right, and then there's the bureaucrats. Cook the books. Just spend 2 stress on a downtime activity to gain additional supply roll. Okay. So this is just... Where'd it go? Friends and I... No. No. I've lost it. Where did it go? Oh, it is friends in high places. Okay. Take +1 die when making a supply roll. This gives independence. Okay. So if squads can push themselves, let's see, obvious, should multiple pods be able to do it? I mean, there's kind of diminishing returns. Is there? Yeah, there is diminishing returns. Because the chance of getting a 6 increase, yes, but the amount that chance increases by is less with each additional die. It's the... Of course it also... Oh, wait. I think I have... It's in the playtest doc? No, it would be in my notes doc. I think I have... Licensing, no. What was it? It was... let's see. I remember there was an article that had a thing about blades. Blades in the dark probabilities. There we go. All right. This was very useful. To find this, I just Googled take on rules blades dice. Okay, so pool size. Let's see, chance of success. So this is 6s. This is 4, 5. This is multiple 6s. So let's see, that's 3, 7, 13. So that's 3% increase. 4, 6, 7, 6. Yeah. Oh, and here, even here, there's a nice curve. This is good. Okay. All right. So yeah, if like a full squad had, say, 1 die, squad of 4 people, each person spends 2 stress. That gives them suddenly 40% chance for a 6, 20% chance for a crit, which is 9 supply points. So it probably shouldn't be just anyone in the squad. So 1 person should be able to do it. And then that'll cost them stress. Is it 2 stress? That would be keeping with consistent. That would be consistent, which is important. It means people are less likely to forget it. Okay, so not roll twice. Pilots can spend 2 stress to add +1d to supply rolls. Making a supply roll, any pilot can spend 2 stress for plus 1d to the roll. You know what? I'm going to put this in the blades, or not the blades. I'm going to put this in the Discord. For anyone curious about it, it's in the Beam Saber Discord. There should be links to Beam Saber and the Discord in the channel description, and also in the episode description if you're watching this on YouTube. If you want to find a link to this, or of course the game. Okay, am I happy with this? Pilots can spend 2 stress to add plus 1d to supply rolls. Friends in high places is just flat plus 1 die. Supply rolls, that's their thing. Which makes this ability just worse. Makes this friends in high places but worse. So that's kind of not great. Okay. I mean, this lets them stack. So how do I make this better? Because right now, it's a worse friends in high places. I could let them stack, which would potentially make crits very common if at the end of missions people are just like, oh, well, I've got less than 6 stress, I'll just throw some stress at this, and then immediately we'll probably have the resources for me to get rid of that stress immediately. So this isn't so hot. I am less enthused about this ability now. So I don't want to step on those toes. I mean, I could just steal friends in high places for this, but also that seems less great. I'd have to come up with a new ability for the consulate. Did I put in an ability that was you can roll a supply, make the supply roll twice, and then take the better one? Recruitment drive, level the playing field, post a child, nano laminate armor. Is that just not in there? Spend 2 stress to add plus 1d to supply. No, I got rid of it, didn't I? Okay, so maybe it's every pilot in the squad spends 1 stress or 2 stress. Spends 2 stress. And the squad can re-roll its supply roll and then take the higher results. So that is anywhere from 2 to 10 stress spent. Maybe that's too much. 1 stress Every pilot in the squad spends 1 stress, and the squad can re-roll its supply roll and then take the higher results. So, spend 4 stress, get to re-roll. Let's reread Golden Streets again. Improve the supply situation of the faction. This can be done by improving the wealth rating of controlled regions, giving supplies to your patron faction, or refusing supply rolls from your patron faction. Making a supplier. This one's giving me some trouble now. Okay, so the obvious answer is it does something with the supply roll. Is there anything I could do that is less obvious about what it might impact? Something out of left field. Could affect storage, but that's not interesting. Trust already affects supply roll. Could double the trust bonus. Okay, what's the process for supply rolls currently? Let's have a look at that. Where's mission complete? Reward. Supply roll, targets tier plus employer faction status to a minimum of 0. So that would be generally regarding the whole downgrade bonus. What happens if an enemy faction achieves this goal? Do the PCs get downgraded? So I think I say this in, I don't remember if I say this. I'm not sure. The more I think about it, the more I'm unsure. Hold on, let me write down this note about the idea I just had. Double faction status bonus to supply roll? Question mark? Where's the faction goals? Okay. So, players and GM will affect things concerning this decision. Squads, clocks fill all squads. Players and GM. Okay. I'm trying to think if I actually said to bother tracking faction goals for enemy factions. Because that was something that I was definitely not sure of. Let's see, where is squads? So probably be in squad goals, I think, that I talk about that. Faction. Where is stuff about NPC squads? That'll probably be in creating squads. Creating a squad. Squad goals. Creating a faction. Okay, so it'll be somewhere in here. Let's have a look. Creating a squad, there are 5 things. What faction does it belong to? What are its methods? What are its goals? This helps determine where, when, and why they are deploying their methods. If they ally with the pilots, it should be to work towards their goals. If they are in conflict with the pilots, doing so should also further their goals, possibly because the pilots are impeding them. Okay. The other details of the squad determine it's time to flesh out their goal. The goal can be anything that furthers the interests of the squad and should illustrate their core identity. Give the goal a progress clock the size appropriate to the complexity of the task. The squad's goal will be appropriate to their tier. For example, the squad managed to increase their tier. Like they gain a goal that would have previously been out of their reach. Goals are not necessarily for a squad to have. However, if a squad appears on screen, it should be given a goal to direct the GM in the ways that it affects the campaign's narrative. Yeah, I know that there's a faction goal stuff clock in the digital faction sheet, but that might be because that's the only place to track the players' factions goal in that sheet set. Between such, should look at the goals of the squad that are currently active in the narrative. This includes any squads that were involved in missions. Should then make a fortune roll. If players have a mission that aids, hinders, results falls over fulfilling clock. Should the squad become active again, consider giving them a fortune roll. Squad's goal clock fills, it gains benefit as appropriate for the nature of the goal, and then gain a new clock. Plots should hear rumor. Additionally, if appropriate, the squad's patron faction's clock should go up by 1 tick. However, not all squads work towards their patron's goal. When examining the goal of a squad that has a pilot's rival in it to make sure that the rival is directly involved in the goal, this might take the form of providing security, performing research. Okay, so squads can increase their patron faction's goal clock. Okay. Autocracy. This is the only thing required. Other than the player. Okay, factions. Other than the player's patron do not require faction goals. However, if the GM or players find it useful to assign them, then it should be done. Okay, so I think I should specify that So how does this is a good question. Thank you for asking it, Herman. How does this relate to the faction goals being completed? So obviously, if they don't have cohorts, they don't have stress, you could describe them having better armor now. Okay. I think I'll just say I don't want to get too mechanistic in how NPC factions goals work. So, when a faction's goal is fulfilled, every squad that currently has it as their patron gains the appropriate benefits. Let's see. Faction completes a goal in a faction other than the pilot's patron completes a goal. Describe the Describe to the players the sweeping changes they hear about that are caused by the goal's completion. This will likely affect complete caused by the goal's completion. Let's see. Look to the look to the goal's benefit for inspiration. Look to the goal's benefit for inspiration as to the changes that occur. This will likely affect the other than change. Okay. Look to the goal's benefits for inspirations as to the changes that occur. Remember that the fictional positioning of the game has an effect on of the game alters the position and effect of player roles. Remember, okay. When a faction other than the pilot's patron completes a goal, describe to the players the sweeping changes they hear about that are caused by the goal's completion. Look to the goal's benefit for inspiration as to the changes that occur. Remember that the fictional positioning of the game alters the position and effect of player roles. There we go. That is answered. It's not overly mechanistic. Plays to the narrative. Does affect the mechanics though. And doesn't spring any surprises like a sudden drop in tier on the players. Okay. All right, that's good. Thank you for spotting that. So, every pilot in the squad spends 1 stress. All right. You know what? I know that I've still got 4 more of these to work on, but that was a good 2 hours of work to do. So I think that I am actually going to call it there for tonight. So, thank you so much for joining me on this game design stream. My name's Austin Ramsey. I've been your host for this evening. You can find me on Twitter at NotAnIn. And most Tuesdays on this channel, twitch.tv/you_don't_meet_in_an_in, the latter in having 2 N's. On that channel, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. EST, I run a Beam Saber campaign called the Cenotaph. So you can check that out. You can also find that campaign on YouTube, also on You Don't Meet in an Inn's YouTube channel. And if you prefer MP3 format, beamsaber.libsyn.com has that campaign in an edited MP3 format. Or you can also find us on iTunes under Beam Saber. What else is there? Links to all of that and the rules for Beam Saber should be in the description of this episode or the channel. This stream, as always, is presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a diverse rotating cast. You can find that at youdon'tmeetinanin.libsyn.com or on iTunes at You Don't Meet in an Inn. And there should be links to that as well. So, I believe that that is everything for today. Thank you again so much for joining me. And remember, fight the war, not the soldiers. See you later.